Hello and welcome to Joyful Motherhood. Today we're going to talk about homeschool essentials. What do you really need to homeschool your kids? It might be less than you think. Hi, I'm Lora from the blog myjoyfulmotherhood.com, and I love homeschooling. Recently I talked about homeschooling a little bit on the blog and in a video that will be linked in the cards. I was showing you my homeschool supplies for this school year. I have a second grader and a kindergartner this year, and I bought a ton of fun stuff and some really cool kits and things to just make my life easier. But I thought it was really important to touch on what's actually essential for homeschooling. When I homeschooled my kindergartner, we didn't use anything. We didn't have to buy anything, and we used some of these things that I'm going to talk about today. So I want to tell you that it is possible and it can be really fun. Just be a little bit creative and you can teach your kids things. You could really teach your kids things for free. Learning happens every single day throughout the day, and just living life, you're going to learn so much. So there are some free ways to do it. I'm going to touch on those, and then I'm going to tell you some really essential supplies that we use all the time. I have about 7 things here written down. Let's start with the most basic, the most important for us is the internet and a computer. So if you have the internet and a computer, you can homeschool your kids completely for free. After the internet charge and the computer, of course, but you can find so many curriculums online. You can print things, you can just read things or watch videos and learn so much. The next thing is the library, and going off of what we just talked about, you can actually get the internet for free in most libraries and use their computer. So really, you can do this for free. But the library is also great for so many other things. Of course, the books, and then some libraries like ours does, they have certain things for homeschoolers. We can check out a telescope, which we did last year. There's 3D printing machines at our library. So go check out your library and see what they offer. Maybe they have homeschool groups that meet up where you can socialize or do different activities with other homeschool families. Another huge essential for my family is nature, and so that's obviously free. We go outside every single morning. We like to do hikes every morning or go to parks, and it's exercise, and plus there's so much to learn out there. So just for example, we were out the other day and we live in the desert and we found cactus, and so we looked at it, and if my kids were more interested, we could definitely look up videos about it. We could do more research about cactus and learn so much. And the fun thing is, when your kids see it in real life and they want to learn about it, that's when they really absorb it the most and they learn the best that way. So I'd encourage you at least weekly to just go out in nature, maybe draw flowers or just sit and have a picnic outside. Find ways to be outside because it's the best place to learn. A huge necessity in our family for schooling or just learning is paper. We go through so much paper. I buy big boxes on Amazon at the beginning of the year, and we go through it all. So this is for crafting, for taking notes, for drawing. My kids like to cut them up and make little books, and just paper is used every day. We also print a ton of things that they learn from. My favorite homeschool essential, and probably my kids' favorite too, is art supplies. We always have so many art supplies on hand. My husband's actually an artist, so he always has paints and brushes, but we like to get all sorts of crafty things for our kids to just play with. And when they're bored, I say, well, have you made anything? And they can go to their craft bin and go through all the paper and the stamps and markers and everything like that and just create, because I think kids actually learn best when they're using those imaginations and creating, making something themselves. Something we really like is board games. We have so many board games now, and the kids are finally old enough to really be playing board games with us. It's an amazing way to learn. Or card games. I know that my son learned his numbers and basic math just by playing card games with me. We would play war, and he would learn what number is higher than the other one. And it's really so important to play as kids and not just focus on the workbooks and learning that way, but just play, and you'll be amazed how fast your kids learn. My last tip goes along with playing. It's really important to us that we always have Play-Doh or sensory type bins around. So my kids like to just play with that at any time, but especially when I'm reading to the kids, we like to do read alouds, and they can just be playing with Play-Doh and listening at the same time. Sensory bins are also really fun for toddlers to keep them busy while you're homeschooling your older kids. And so my toddler now is really getting into playing with rice or sand or beans. And we just have a bin of stuff and little toys in there sometimes Scoopy measuring cups. There's really fun sensory toys you can buy to put in there. It's a great way to play and have fun. There's ways to learn with sensory bins too, by hiding letters, little magnet letters in there. Or like I said, just listening to an audiobook or hearing your mom read while you're playing, and you can kind of absorb it. Get them to sit down for a longer amount of time because they're busy with something else. Going along with that, Legos are really fun for our kids to learn and play with during times like that. They don't realize how much they're learning just by being creative and building with their Legos. So that's it for my homeschool essentials. As you can see, it's so basic. You don't need a ton. You don't even have to follow a curriculum if you don't want to. So don't be overwhelmed, and trust that your kids will learn in everyday life, and you'll find the situations to teach your kids. My schooling philosophy is maybe different than most, and I'll definitely go into that in the future. Give me a thumbs up if you want to see a video about that. But I more lean towards just going with the flow, letting your kids learn. So these are some of the essentials that help with that. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below, letting me know what your favorite homeschool essential is and what you use in your family. I would love to hear from you. Don't forget to check out my blog, myjoyfulmotherhood.com, and my podcast, Joyful Motherhood Podcast. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.